Hello, hello. This is Jules Hare, and joined with my good friend, collaborator, soul sister, Janel Willette, joining you for another revolutionary conversation. Thanks so much for joining us today, Janelle.
Such a joy to be here. Interesting times, pivotal times, and times that bring us to the precipice of what we've all been waiting for.
Mm,
And the key is, are we listening and getting the whisper that that invitation is actually knocking on your door? So we're going to start by just speaking to what is it to hear? Because many of us are listening to all these things that are going on around us. Sometimes the monkey mind that happens inside of us and through. There's listening and then there's hearing. And the quality of hearing is how true truth, real love, auspicious energy comes in and has a place and a space to assimilate and make itself known inside of us.
mm. And when you say that, Janelle, there's that sense of when we say, "Oh, that really resonates with me," and this is a statement I've been hearing more and more. People actually are using this statement. This has become commonplace. I'm like, "Oh, thank goodness!" But that feeling, that resonance, like it's a beautiful and big, powerful word to
Mhm.
recognize something's actually like it's landing in you and reverberating from within. It's activated something inside of us. And Janelle and I, we've talked so much about how this revolution is coming and how we can all feel it. And for a lot of people that
Yeah.
I talk
Yeah.
to as well, it's super uncomfortable. Like things are shifting really quickly, and it's so uncertain, and there's so much happening that it's really hard to know what to do with it based on the old tools that we've been trained to use. And so it was just the other day, and this is what sparked this conversation. Oh, sorry, it was just a couple of hours ago. That's how long ago it was. Um, that somebody said, like, it's I know that there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. We can't keep doing things the way that we've been doing them. There has to be a better way. And it doesn't have to be pizzazz and flashy and jumping on the, spiritual cruise ship of all these new terms and you know gaining more knowledge and more knowledge and assigning more meaning to new words that sound cooler and sound more revolutionary. No, this is about simplicity and what really resonates when you hear it, when you're listening in your whole being. This is where we're at.
Yes, yes. A multisensory experience that is undeniable and experiential, experiential. And I think to the point of there must be a better way is that there are different tools and rituals and routines and ways of doing life that become obsolete. How many of you are still using your very first laptop, your very first phone that was cordless, right? They became obsolete. And then there was this revolutionary leap of the technology. And what happened? Very quickly, your technology became obsolete. And in that same or a parallel way, a lot of the things that we have um, been accompanying ourselves with in life are becoming obsolete very quickly. And they don't work. And they don't work because they're not meant to work. Because the energy, the frequency, the vibration, the evolutionary grid doesn't match, right? It's like if you've ever gone to another country and all of a sudden you realize that the technology and the chords and the plugins are all different. And so you look at that and you go, whoa, this is really frustrating that this isn't bringing me the fruition that I'm seeking. Let that be known inside of you to know that there's obsolete patterns, routines, ways of thinking, paradigms. They're not meant to work anymore. There are no more upgrades for that technology inside of us. And that's why Jules and I are embarking on this revolutionary lifestyle program that has the evolutionary journey that brings to fruition the new tools and jewels that help you really embark on a grace-filled, presence-filled, empowering journey that brings to you to where your soul is directing you. Not that we're directing you, but to where your soul is directing you.
And I think that it feels like the most important piece uh, to expand into, Janelle, is that for so long, and I've done this, I've watched many clients do this throughout the years, is we look to somebody else to do it for us. We look for a guru, we look for a teacher, we look for, an author, we look for somebody who has been there before us, which is great. A role model is
Yeah,
a different
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But we want them to do it for us. We want them to show us our way. But really, we have to discover our way, because that is the only one that is going to ring true, that's going to resonate in every part of your entire being, that is going to be able to radiate your truth and therefore inspire more authenticity and truth in the world around you. You need to find it for yourself, and nobody else can do that for you. But a great guide, a great mentor can ask the right questions, can
Mhm.
hold the right space or accountability to be able to bring you back to your own center of truth, to your wisdom. And it's
Yeah.
that power that's the power that we can be looking for, is those people in our worlds that can hold that divine space for us to be able to hold us to our own truth, those beautiful mirrors. And unfortunately, there's a smaller amount of them. It's not a majority. You're not going to find like the next one of five people by any stretch, right? So you
Mhm.
need to be choosy about those people that actually work for you, that will actually hold that space for you so that you can be yourself. And maybe you have somebody like this in your world. As I say this, you'll know, oh yeah, like Susie does that for me, or oh, you know what, I haven't reached out to Dave, but Dave's a really beautiful mirror for me. This is a call out for all of us
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
pull in our tribe, to connect to those people that are beautiful holders of space for us. And remember that we have that capacity in ourselves as we start taking full responsibility and searching, and not searching, I should say, uncovering the teacher within.
Yeah. Yes. And it's a different kind of hierarchy. It's more of a equality based, empowering, supportive community
Mhm.
where we all hold and cherish and respect each other from regarding each person as beautiful, perfect, and imperfectly perfect. We're here because we're all recognizing we're imperfectly perfect. And there's work to do, and there's gold to be discovered, to be unearthed inside each of us. And so how can we hold each other accountable be a presence, and together and individually, simultaneously, learn different new tools, have different jewels inside of us that we can access when the going gets tough, when there's so much chaos and reverberation from others that seem to have an effect on us. How can we hold ourselves in that unchanging center, in our center, in the midst of the ever changing? Because that also is that golden nucleus, your infinite reservoir to unfurl and unravel and bring forward the the architecture of your soul, because your soul knows exactly the life you're here to live. And many of us have lived a life externally and done great things. And there's this like, oh, doing the same way isn't bringing fruition like it did before. Because I think the universe is calling us each of us into the depths, a greater depth of our own inner being, so that we can witness a revolution inside out. And then what is born is a new human that even you yourself will witness as it happens from the inside out. And there haven't been opportunities that I have seen. And I've been searching for years and years on my journey. And a great friend once said, I think that person is you. Why don't you be the creator of that? And I said, I just want it. I want to find a tribe. And he said, create a tribe, invite them, and they will come.
Mm. Create a tribe, invite them, and they will come.
And then what can happen from that golden tribe energy is quantum, is monumental.
Mm.
And I remember back about 40 or 50 years ago, when there were a lot of sages coming from the east to the west. And it was like this flow of more immortality and different practices. And so many of the sages that held the scientific as well as the spiritual were really embarking on creating a force field of awakened beings, because that force field in the quantum realm would create so much change. It's like, what is that tipping point? And I think that whole um, golden thread for the macrocosm is coming back around and inviting us to come and find the people that hold you to your highest, that we together can become something more than we can individually or in very small groups, because that's what's going to also create the big change, the greater revolution. But no greater revolution happens until we each do our own inner revolution.
Mm. And those communities that you spoke of, like that call to find your tribe, to build your community, to connect to others. I've had so many conversations with people about that, about even just after the pandemic, right? It's like, my calling to community, my calling to connect with people who are intentional about the same thing I'm intentional about, right? That
Mhm,
shared
mhm.
experience. And like, I like the way you describe it. It's like the obsolete programming, right? It's like trying to upgrade a calculator to be a computer. It's like it's a mini computer, but I'm never going to be able to watch movies on it. Like why why am I trying to use my old fixed programming
Exactly.
that it's got me here, but it's no longer working. We all feel this, and we're all like, there's a lot of people super perturbed by it, myself at times as well, where I'm like, this has always worked. why isn't this working anymore? But it's really because that there's something more that's calling out that works in such a far out way that it's hard to even comprehend with our human mind, um, because it's that much bigger, because it's actually something that's created from our heart. It's actually something that has a capacity we couldn't possibly fathom. But when we step into it together, that's the key, right? We
Mhm,
need
mhm,
each
mhm.
other to have the key. No one person anymore can have a key that unlocks all of this. The whole woven tapestry creates the key. It needs to be a community together that unlocks all of these pieces, and communities all over the world are going to be doing it.
The
We need to do this.
collaboration, the collab
Yes.
energy, and the collaborative energy that can sit in the center of the center, at the center of the center, can then also access that quantum intelligence in even a greater way.
Mm.
Because what also is very obsolete right now is using our IQ to to grow and evolve. The IQ isn't going to foster evolution and revolution,
It's like the calculator.
right? And yet people don't know how to really access the quantum intelligence. It's like Rumi said, the open secret, right? It's open, but yet so few people can access it. And it's not obvious until it's obvious. And so both Jules and I are creating that sacred space in both the immersion program that's going to be coming up and our mastermind to provide support, to sit together and come to that center at the center, each of us and collectively. Because once you find that place inside yourself in which your IQ is welcome and it then holds space for its friend, the QI, the quantum intelligence,
Mm.
that's where the new transformation and the birth of the golden era is going to take place. Not without it. And the IQ isn't going to leave behind, the QI is not going to leave behind the IQ. It's both. It's bridging like yoga, yoke. It's the weaving. And in the dissonance that you might feel, it welcomes resonance, resonance and dissonance. And together they work very well together, but one without the other does not create change because dissonance creates enough chaos to shake things up and to strive for resonance. And then resonance is the incubation station. It's that pure place where the fertile soil is there to hold the rebirth of the human who is to come to life for the
Mm.
next chapter of your life.
And I feel called to mention when it comes to the quantum intelligence, because it feels so far out and we don't really have a place to put it in our minds because it's really too vast to be able to assign words
Mhm.
to it. But in a in my own experience, having on this path, that quantum intelligence, it's so much easier and more simple than we've been trained things are supposed to be with our calculator IQ brains.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
this is like it's a kid-like awe and wonder and surrender and trust and freedom, liberation, and
Mhm.
it's almost as if as adult humans, most of us as adult humans watching this, uh, we've been trained to fit the boxes so much that
Mhm. Mhm.
it almost seems too easy to go to that space, but it's not. And that's why we were talking about the importance of the experience. It's an experiential learning. It's a leaning into trust. It's a being present in your body in new ways that don't have to follow the rules that you thought you had to follow. It's almost a breaking down of those boxes, but when you're doing it together, it's so much easier than when our ego or our mind tries to get in the way. When we're doing it together, it's more of a water slide. And a water
Right.
slide that has water going down it versus a water slide that, somebody forgot to put water down and you're like squeaking and the mind is going, oh, but it's like, no, here we go. We're doing it together.
Super fluidity. Yeah. Connectivity. Right. And the only thing that's really difficult, if we're going to tell ourselves the truth about this, the only thing that's really difficult is getting out of our own way. That's
Always.
the only thing that's actually really difficult. So when you sit in the witnessing awareness and you have the capability of just observing it all, observing our essence and observing our ego, and that place in the center where you're just witnessing it all, that's where you begin to find equanimity. And then you rest in equanimity more often, that neutrality. Nothing's pulling you out of yourself. Nothing's pushing you. You feel the attraction, but yet you're just going to sit in that dwelling place. And from that place, there's a greater knowing that can come through because you're not contracted in the thinking and the doing and the making sense of and analyzing or assessing. Those are all contracted oriented behaviors. Expansion is all wonder, curiosity, listening, taking it in, seeing with new eyes. Like, oh, wow, I've never realized space between those branches and all that happens because I'm just dwelling in the moment, looking not for something, but I'm looking, I'm witnessing. Right? I don't have an agenda. The ego always has an agenda. So when we can be in that observation, that neutral place inside of ourselves, that's the first step to see what's really true and truly real. And then have the capacity to tell ourselves the truth.
Oh, and it sounds, so powerful, and we love to think it was easy, but to tell ourselves the truth,
Requires.
ourselves the truth, right? Like, it's hard to tell other people the truth. You'd think it would be easier to tell ourselves the truth, but really, that can be hard. And because of its challenge, when you actually are able to do it, it changes everything.
It's our own Berlin Wall. You think it's the wall out there, it's the wall inside. And what I'm saying is stand on that wall. Get yourself up and stand on that wall. That's like the equator. That's like the being at the precipice where you see both. Because that is where we launch our life. Because we have omnipresence. We see it all and we're not reacting to anything. We're settling in and we're feeling it all and letting the intelligence that lives inside of us through our feeling nature when we're in equanimity, not when we're in reaction or fear. We just sit and sit and sit until the anchor within us grounds to that infinite sea bottom. That's where we find our unchanging self, our true nature. And that's going to be the anchor for the journey. And that's always the first step. Because then each of us can find that place inside of our own selves that we're always held and supported, where truth is always truth, reliability is 1,000%, 1,000% of the time. And then the obsolete parts can begin to slough off because it's fear and contraction and contriving, this cajoling that's holding them so firmly and keeping us from what we're actually yearning for.
And to know that that is possible, to be able to operate and navigate your reality from a place of that clear of a
Mhm,
knowing,
mhm,
of a
mhm,
trusting in yourself, of a invincibility, of an immortality, knowing that you're immortal because you're a soul having a human experience. When this human experience is over, you're still a soul. that
mm,
that energy of being present in your body and knowing that this is a gift, this life that we have right now.
mhm,
If
mhm,
you're listening to
mhm.
this, you've got it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We're here, and there is, just like we started with, there has to be a better way. There is a better way, and we're all stepping into it. So, are you ready and willing to be proactive and choose to step into it? Or does it need to shake you and,
break
try
you for
feel
a
like it breaks
breakthrough.
you? Yes, yeah, because regardless, there's gonna be a breakthrough, whatever form it's in, but you get to choose.
Mhm, right.
Yeah, so with that, is there anything else you wanna add in, Janelle? I think that's, like, full circle.
That's full circle, and I think the full circle is actually the full circles. It's the like in the Kala chakra, it's the wheel of time and the wheel of life. And when we are at the center and we're balancing time, because time waits for no one. Everybody has, so many people have this feeling that, oh, I'm not ready, the time's not now. Are you sure? Or are you just telling yourself that story because you have an agenda? So there is this wheel of time. There is the cycle of the seasons. There's the cycle of life and death. There is this continuum that is the cycle of time and the cycle of life. And when we meet the cycles of time and life, there's that center point in which the wheel of liberation can come alive through us. And that's really what this immersion, the immersion into our immortality or an invincibility, is to know both. To know our invincibility as mortal beings and know our immortality as the truth that's always, that's ever present. And it's the also that animating force that lives through us. So now the revolution of our time is to be that, to be both immortal and invincible in time and beyond time. That's what we as humans need. And that's what's coming alive. That's exactly why this time that we're witnessing, it's bringing that forth.
Mm, and that's the same reason why we've been called to create this Golden Genius Mastermind, which is
Yes.
gonna be happening every 2 weeks on Wednesdays. So for those listening, if this speaks to you, just reach out, Golden Genius Mastermind, just the way it sounds, at gmail.com, and we'll get you the information. That is happening every 2 weeks so that we can gather more people who are online with this same vision that it resonates with in this way. And we're all going to meet together and create together, not an intentional like we're doing something creating, but actually diving deeper into our own golden genius to awaken the next level of what's ready to be acknowledged from within ourselves together. Um,
Yes.
and then the immersion that Janelle keeps referring to, that is the immortality and invincibility immersion. And that's actually starting, if you're listening to this, starting December 5th. So if you're really interested, please reach out as soon as you can. That one will be one of a kind because every time we do it, and I'm sure we'll do it again, it will shift in different ways. We can already feel that. But if that speaks to you, please reach out, and we'd love, yeah, to see if that's a good fit for you. And you have an interview with Janelle to see if it's a good fit for everyone. And the calling to you and to your heart and to what is
Mm.
awakening within you, that is what you are answering to. Yeah. So with that, I thank everyone for tuning in, for letting this have some time to percolate in your being. If you need to listen to it again, this is the invitation, because sometimes it takes a couple of times to actually like let it land and let it hit and let it drop into that infinite sea bottom of truth, to feel what feels right for you,
Yeah.
whatever direction that is moving forward. If you want to reach out to us, please, we are here.
Mhm,
This
mhm.
is, we're of service to this huge awakening and this revolution that is to come. So thank you so much, Janelle, for
All right.
these
Beautiful
conversations are always so
conversation.
juicy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Weaving
Dancing.
gold.
Yes, dancing, weaving gold. Thank you so much, all of you who are listening and watching. And we look forward to hearing from you. If this speaks to you, then speak to us. Big love.
Bless, bless. Bye.